Well, hello there. Another week, another video. It is the second week in January and I am well into austerity now, having bought this very lovely bag here, the Bolide 1923 in the size 30. Now, because I am in austerity, because of this bag, and there hasn't been much for me to do other than admire it, I was going to do a little comparison between the 1923 and the sizes 30 and 25. I realized that this isn't a very often talked about bag online, so I thought maybe this might help you out. So let's perhaps get into some of the more salient details. I'll try and elaborate and do a comparison as I come along. The very first difference between these two bags obviously is the size. For those of you who don't know Hermes bags, when they say a number at the back of it, that's usually the base width of the bag. So 1923 size 25 is 25 centimeters across. It means 25 centimeters across this base. But if you were to include how much it juts out by, this is 27 centimeters across. This is 10 centimeters deep and it's about 18 centimeters tall. That's all approximate. This bag is the 30, so it's about 30 centimeters at the actual base, but it juts out by a bit more, so it's about 32 centimeters. It is about 22 to 23 centimeters tall, and it is about 12 centimeters deep. So you can tell there is quite a bit of a difference in terms of size because of these two, because of the width. What I will say, however, is that if you try and compare the handles, they are not actually very, very different in terms of how long they are. The 30 is perhaps slightly longer than the 25, but it's not a very big difference, as you can tell. So what I will say is the Bolide probably only goes up your arm. If you've got a skinny arm, it will of course sit on the crook of your arm, but most of the time I have been carrying it on my forearm if I have to. Of course it will change if you're wearing a coat or if you've got a watch. So sometimes I've got my fitness watch on and of course it won't go over my wrist. This sits a lot more comfortably crook of the arm. It is slightly larger, but still it's not going to be very much more comfortable than the size 25. In terms of what they come with, both of them will come with a strap and your clochette and lock, and the hardware will of course match whatever hardware you've got on the bag. So this is the strap for my size 30. It's a very lovely gold color with the contrast stitching, and this is the strap for this 25 in blue sapphire Epsom leather with gold hardware. I really love this color, and as far as I can tell, they are about the same length. So you will see, I'll try and put in some mod shots later on, you will see the 30 sitting maybe just slightly higher, or maybe it won't be that much of a difference, but it will sit slightly differently because the strap lengths are the same. So yeah, these are the two straps. So both of them are in Epsom leather, which I don't mind because Epsom tends to keep its structure for a bit longer. I've had this bag since the end of 2022, and so far it has held up its structure very well. I think it's because it's a smaller bag. I'm not sure how the Epsom leather will fare in a larger size 30. In terms of the ease of getting bags, now these are not quota bags. You do not have to have a pre-spend to get these bags in store, but what happens is, because they are not very commonly introduced into the store, you will have to talk to an SA about keeping you in mind when some of them come through. So when in 2022 bags were in very short supply, he had to ask for permission to release this to me. I'd been in the store shopping with Hermes for about a year, and it was quite an easy ask, I think. But he knew that I was looking out for this, and therefore when some Bolide 25s came in store, he did ask me, and then he got clearance to offer me this one, which I thought was really nice. but you don't need a pre-spend typically for these bags. And yeah, it is much easier to get a 25. You tend to get more stock of it simply because I think more people ask for smaller sizes. This bag is not very commonly seen. I've only ever seen it once else in store in the Hong Kong airport, and they didn't offer it to me because I wasn't a client or a regular client at Hermes in Hong Kong. So this really didn't come into the Singapore stores at all, and you know, it was much harder to get simply because Hermes don't make the size 30 very often. And you know, to a point that my SA basically told me that it was much easier and probably quicker to get a Kelly because they definitely make more of those than the Bolide 1923 in the size 30. And true to form, I did get my Kelly 1 year before I got this bag. But you know, I love this bag. And I genuinely think that it is such a cool bag to have. Nobody, you know, in this day and age, everybody keeps talking about being targeted if you have a Birkin or a Kelly. This bag is so nondescript, you know. I don't think anyone would realize that it's an Hermes bag unless you've shopped for a very long time at the brand. It doesn't scream or anything. The one thing I would say is that it definitely feels a lot plainer on the size 30. So I do love putting, you know, my charms and my my twillies on it just to make it look a bit nicer, but it's this lovely brown color as well. So it's very neutral and it goes with a lot of different things. So that is how I feel about this bag. I do love the 25 as well, but I've certainly been enjoying getting to know this bag and using it a little bit. Now, in terms of what fits, I'm going to show you, I have filled this bag fuller than I normally would, and you can see for yourself how much it actually fits. It is a bag that is very capacious. I think again in this day and age, if all of you don't carry very much along, you'll see that this is more than enough room. Oh yeah, fun fact, just for those of you who don't know, both Bolides come with this lock mechanism here. So the zip has a hole in it. The zipper pull has this little gap, and then you just slot it in, and you're meant to be able to put your lock here and lock the zipper pull in place. So this is the tab on my Bolide 1925 and 1923 in the size 25, and on the 30 you can see the same thing right here. So in terms of ease of opening, actually, because this zipper pull goes out much further down and it's much longer, I found that getting in and out of this bag is a bit easier than the size 30 because, you know, it's a bit more cumbersome. But I think it's also a matter of getting used to it. I've only been using this bag for about a week or so. Now, let's see what fits in here. And spoiler, I don't actually put all of this in here. I don't have a bag liner for it. Because this bag is so rare, I can't find a proper bag liner. I've seen a couple of sites, I'm going to try it out, but they haven't the bag organizer hasn't arrived yet. So I've put one pouch here. This is about a 10 by 15 centimeter pouch. My reusable bag, my sunglasses. I have my portable battery. I have a book. This is like an A5. I think this is an A5 notebook. I have my wallet. This is my Dior Saddle Lotus wallet. I've got another pouch here, and these two are my catch-alls. They put everything spare and loose. I tend to put them in pouches. Let's put this back slightly, and then we will have some more space. I've got my small agenda, my key pouch, and my mini umbrella. I do also have a water bottle, and that's about it. So as you can tell, the Bolide 1923 in the size 30 can fit a lot of things. bear in mind, it does get really heavy. So when I packed it that full, I could, and I have done so in the past, not with the water bottle, but with everything else. I've put everything in and gone out for the day. The bag got really heavy and the shoulder strap would start digging into my shoulder, so I'd have to switch to a top handle carry and then switch into crook of the arm carry and then back to shoulder carry, just to make sure that I didn't get too fatigued carrying the bag. So yeah, I mean, in this sense, I'm very grateful that I did not get a Birkin 30, because I think the Birkin 30 would be much heavier and therefore a bit less user-friendly than the Bolide 30. Now, in terms of what's inside the bag, I think the construction's pretty similar for the 30 and the 25. You've got 2 slip pockets there, and I think I mentioned this in my previous video. You can see the Hermes stamp in silver there. Fun fact, the code or the serial number of the Bolide is actually underneath this tab here. So you'll see that for the 30 and also for the 25, they should have a similar setup. You might not be able to see it because I've got my insert here, but you've got one pocket here and you have another slip pocket here at the back, and you've got the gold foil Hermes stamp on the inside too. Okay, so let's get into what this little bag can carry. So obviously you've seen what this big bag can carry. I'm going to have to Tetris things a bit more into this bag, right? In that bag I could shove everything that I've just shown you, and there was a slight amount of space left, not so much with the Bolide 1925. So I've put in my mini umbrella and my agenda, and I've got a reusable bag. What else? My wallet, keys, my portable charger, I'll put in one of the pouches, not both. And yeah, there's still a little bit of space in there, and that's where I usually slot my phone. So if you zip it up, it will just be about full. With the phone, it will bulge slightly, but not too much, and the leather's relaxed enough for me to be able to do that. But this is the Bolide 1925 that's full. So what I haven't been able to put in comfortably into this bag would have been this additional pouch, my sunglasses, and my notebook, this notebook here. So both bags actually do store quite a bit of things, and you know, they are not too bad in terms of capacity, but clearly the 1930 will obviously fit more. I'll put in a couple of more shots, and then hopefully you'll be able to see appreciate the difference in terms of how they look on the crook of the arm in person, right? I think that's a big one. Now, in terms of which I'd recommend, really, I think both bags are good. They're really useful, and I love, if you're going for a nondescript Birkin bag, this is really as nondescript as you can get. No logos, no distinctive sangles or lock or closure mechanisms. But you will have, what you will have to contend with is the fact that you could get a similar bag from other brands for much cheaper, right? I've just been enamored with this bag model for so long, I decided to pull the plug on getting both of them. No regrets. I do kind of want a mini Bolide, but this is me not being satisfied with what I have already and me having collected tendencies. I don't think I'm going to have a mini Bolide anytime soon. In case you wanted to know, I got this for just under 10,000 Singapore dollars at the time. It's now about 12,000 odd. I got this for above $13,000 last year, just before the price increase. And the mini Bolide now is about the same price that I paid for this bag at the time. Anyway, so they're not cheap bags, but I love the look of them. I think they're so well made. They just feel so luxurious and nice, and I just feel very classy every time I'm carrying them. So hopefully this video helped. If you liked it, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite non-quota Hermes bag is, if you have any, right? Or let me know what other bags you're looking at from Hermes down in the comment section below. And yeah, that's it. See you next week. Bye.